computer. All right, we're back. We're back
Hello,
for the podcast.
the free Western Civilization podcast
Right.
with the one and only Shamgar Connors.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
He's that way.
Ted Bassett's over there. We're
I'm
back.
I'm I'm me,
We're back
and
by
Ted
popular
Bassett.
demand because we need more conservative voices out there to combat with all of this insanity we're being constantly bombarded with propaganda from the Democrat operation of Satanism.
We try and laugh a little bit on this.
Right.
I think quite a lot about Rush Limbaugh and the things that brought him success, and I think, frankly, you got to laugh about this stuff or you'll cry because it's so very serious and so very
Right.
weighty. So, again, it's the Free Western Civilization podcast with Shamgar Connors and Ted Bassage. We picked the name the Free Western Civilization podcast because we believe that we are in a absolute all-out battle royal for the very survival of Western civilization.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not believe that, I invite you to listen to what we have to say. If you do not see what we see, we ask you to listen to what we have to say and think maybe, just maybe, we're not out of our mind. So,
Right.
in that vein, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Ted Bassage, U.S. Army retired. I spent 33 years in the U.S. Army as an NP, infantryman, infantry drill sergeant for a brief stint. I was a chaplain candidate, chaplain. I've been in 4 wars, the Persian Gulf War, Iraqi Freedom One, Afghanistan, Inherent Resolve, that's Iraq again, back kicking ISIS into oblivion. God bless Donald J. Trump, your duly elected U.S. president.
Right.
And yes, we are pro-Trump. We are MAGA all the way. And no, it is not about worshiping Donald Trump. It is about making America great again because there's tens of millions of people just like us
The
who
majority, remember, the
recognize,
majority of people are like us.
yes, tens of millions
Right.
and millions more. I dare say hundreds of millions worldwide
Well, at
that we are
least
not
billions.
alone.
Yep.
So
The amount of attention Trump's got, it's in the billions of people support him around the world. Yep. So you want to talk about today about first we want to talk about voter fraud. Ooh, big scary voter fraud that everyone says never happens except when Democrats lose, then it always happens. So Ted, what did you think about voter fraud since this is what you really want to talk about today? So go ahead.
well, I'd like to talk about voter fraud and I'd like to talk about propaganda, which
Right.
I see as very highly related. But before we do that, could we just say a little
Oh,
prayer?
yeah, we always got to do it. Yeah, yes.
All right. We're going to say a little prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we bless this podcast. We bless everyone who will hear our voices. And we pray that you'd anoint our lips and that you'd anoint their ears and their hearts. And Lord, I pray that what we speak today, what we say today, would ultimately be said out of a love for you, a love for people, and a love of country, the gift that you've given us, the gift of freedom. And I pray that your truth would prevail. And Lord, as we look at this wave of evil that we are fighting in Western civilization, I thank you, God, that you are bigger than the biggest mountain, that your love is deeper than the deepest ocean, that your strength is greater than our greatest weakness. And Lord, that you have a way through. And we bless our way through and we ask you to help us define a problem and shed light onto darkness, that evil might be defeated and that righteousness would prevail. And we decree that righteousness must prevail and that righteousness will prevail. And we say, God bless America in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So, if I may.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So we discussed everybody's favorite fake governor, Ugly Abby.
Ugly
You
Abby.
remember Ugly Abby?
Hashtag
That would
ugly
be
Abby. Make it
that
trend
would be yes, we're going and we have established that she shall forever be known as Ugly Abby,
forever.
unless she repents of her wanton evil.
Right. If she
Uh,
repents, cool. Okay, we'll take away the nickname. But
and we have discussed and we will discuss voter fraud, but there's a type of voter fraud that is rarely discussed. And it is clearly a voter fraud, a type of voter fraud where the people who do this ought to be indicted immediately. And what they do, and this is only scratches the surface, but what they do in order to deceive people as they run on a platform like Ugly Abby did,
mhm,
running as a moderate, in the minute she swears into the oath of
yeah,
office, her true colors show as the radical Marxist communist,
right.
radical feminist kook that she is.
Yep.
And we believe that Ugly Abby stole the election using multiple levels of fraud.
1,000,000%.
But let's just delve into this for just a nanosecond. So I want to just read you some of the things that Ugly Abby and her gaggle of commies have introduced right off the bat, which
Hmm.
they intend to ram right down your throat.
Right.
At which they again campaigned as moderates. Which, by the way, I am convinced that none of them win. And by the way, Jay Jones really does want to kill your children and watch
Hmm.
them die in their mother's arms. Yes, Jay Jones. If you don't know who Jay Jones is, you need to know. And
Google
if,
him and look up his text messages.
and if you
Easy to
think we're
find.
talking too crazy and too radical, look it up yourself. I know these are strong words. I know they're difficult to digest, which is why we will attempt to intersperse our podcast with some humor, some political satire, which Shamgar is a master at. So here comes just a little bit of Ugly Abby's agenda, which is going to benefit middle class families. Oh my God. If you believe that, I have some beachfront property in northern Alaska for you. If you believe that, uh,
There's no helping if the
if you
people
believe
that believe
that,
that.
I truly hope that my prayer has
Yeah, the prayer has the only way through. Sorry, guys.
somehow gotten through to you. Maybe.
Sorry.
All right, so here comes a few of Ugly Abby's agenda. Uh, 4.3% sales tax on Uber Eats and Amazon deliveries.
Hmm.
New sales tax on admissions to a wide variety of businesses. Two higher tax brackets. A new 10% tax bracket on those making over a million. By the way, when they say a new 10% higher tax bracket on anybody making over a million, I promise you that that is an outright lie. Because when it comes down to actual voting time, what it really means is a higher tax bracket on every
Right. It's gonna
freaking
be
body.
everyone.
It's not just aimed at the rich. It's always, always a lie. 3.8% investment tax on top of sales tax. Raise the hotel tax. They never met a tax. Look, I want to know, Ugly Abby, Jay Jones, who would like to murder me. Jay, if you're listening, Jay, do you want to murder me? I'm very serious. I'm serious. Would you like to murder me and watch my children die in their mother's arms?
Probably.
This is a serious question. I am 98% serious here. You know why I'm serious? Why should I ever have to? This guy is allegedly Attorney General of Virginia, who doubled down on him wanting to murder his political opponent's children,
Right.
and Ugly Abby would not disavow him.
No, she stayed silent when
No,
she was
she
asked.
had an opportunity to disavow him, would not do it.
No,
You know why? Her overlords told her not
they
to.
told her don't. They told her
They
to
told her
stand there.
don't. No, no, we're
Wasn't
going to
it in
put
the?
him
It was
in.
in the debate with
Yes, Winsome Sears.
Winsome Sears, and then she just stood there for a minute straight. And Winsome just kept saying, "Are you going to disavow this? Are you going to like say anything?" And she just stood there, silent, staring
Because
forward.
she has been instructed by her
She's been
evil
instructed.
satanic overlords. You're not going to disavow Jay Jones.
Remember the
Jay Jones is
majority.
getting installed.
The majority of what the Democrats do is they either when you call them out on stuff, they either pretend they don't know what you're talking about, or they just stay silent like that. That's why you can't ever have a real conversation with these people, because everything they do is deceptive, because
Everything to do is deceptive.
they can't do anything and win anything normally. It's always deception or it's always propaganda, which we're talking about in a little bit too.
They don't, they have long abandoned the pretense of civil discourse. They
Right.
do not argue, they do not engage in civil discourse. What they do is they smear.
They smear, and they
They
call you
smear.
names. You're racist. You're
Racist,
this. You're
bigot, Nazi,
that.
pig, homophobe.
Yep. And I
Dennis
mean,
Prager even has an acronym about it. They do not, they go straight for the ad
right.
hominem attack,
Yep.
which is a logical fallacy.
Right. So then they can discredit you and then say that you're an
They attack your
evil,
character.
crazy lunatic. So you deserve
They,
to die because you're
they
evil.
attack your character. They don't call you, they don't try to kill you because you're a Nazi.
Right.
They call you a Nazi
Yeah,
so they can kill you.
so they have the
It is the
justification.
modern equivalent when they call you a racist. It is the precise modern equivalent of accusing somebody of being a witch in Salem, Massachusetts,
Right.
and in Europe in the 17th
It's really the
century.
same. It's the same or
It
worse.
is, you are guilty until proven innocent. It is absolutely demonic. It is upside down and backwards,
Right.
and the witchcraft and the racism lies with them. It is
Yep.
absolutely twisted. So let's a little bit more on
I
Ugly
think you were at,
Abby's.
they're going to relate 3.8% investment tax on top of state income taxes. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Right. Remember, they said that they were going to help the middle class and help everyone out. The first thing in, we need more taxes because they need to fund their illegal invasion
They're illegal
of
ops. Yes, yes. They
this
look, it's not
country.
about taxes. It's about very simply taking, oh, and on top of this, they voted themselves very, very substantial and
Oh yeah,
generous pay raises for
yeah.
them, taking your money. So again, Ugly Abby, J. Jones, if you're listening, and part of me hopes you are, and part of me hopes you're not, because I know that you're evil and rotten to the core, and you're probably consulting demons to attack me. And Shamgar. And yes, I'm absolutely,
After the Epstein files came out, do we doubt that any of these Democrats are doing that? No, I don't.
it's
Nope.
we are, and by the way, this, I want to read a little bit from this book later on. This came in today. It's
Oh,
from Charlie
nice.
Kirk. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
How we win.
All right.
We
So
are
I
in
think
an absolute battle royal with the powers of darkness, whom
we're
you represent, Jay Jones and Ugly Abby,
100%.
uh, for 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 the very survival of Western civilization. I am tired of pussyfooting around this. And Charlie Kirk, God bless him, he addresses this directly. It's about the Republican policy of passive containment,
Right.
or Neville Chamberlainism, which I have screamed about and
Doesn't
caterwauled
work.
about for decades.
Doesn't work,
Which is
dude.
it's
Sorry.
beyond not working. It is utterly collapsed.
It's cowardly and it's weak and pathetic. I think
I mean,
we're
it's
at the
beyond cowardly.
on the list. You're at raise hotel tax, new personal property and tax, landscaping equipment, and here go ahead.
Guarantee illegal aliens free education.
Oh, you forgot.
Guarantee unvetted illegal alien invaders
Right.
free education.
Can't wait to
Oh,
pay for that.
which, oh, by the way, is going to mean free housing, free
Right.
everything. And oh, by the way, if they go rape your children, guess who they're going to go to jail? You know what happens in England if an illegal alien barbarian invader rapes a small child, which, by the way, they're raping the little boys and girls. You
Yep.
know what happens if you complain about it online? They'll come to your house and arrest you
You go to jail for posting online that
for hate crimes.
my
Yep, for
kid
hate
was
crimes.
sexually assaulted by a Muslim immigrant. You go to jail for saying that.
Yeah.
Why? You forgot the best one, man. Banning gas powered leaf blowers.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Wow.
that's really important. I have a gas powered leaf blower,
Uh-oh.
which
Don't
by the way
tell.
is not functional right now, but I think I'm gonna go get it fixed.
I don't know. We have to cut
Just
that out of the thing because in a month from now, you go to jail for that. That's it. It's game over. They're going to find this video. It's over.
that's yes, that would be called totalitarianism, which
Right.
is who they are.
Right.
So make it illegal to approach somebody in an abortion clinic. That's another thing. Ugly Abby. Oh my gosh.
Remember, she wants abortions after birth. She wants them.
These people, please, please, if you have not tuned us out, if you're a communist and you have not tuned us out, any off chance we might change your heart, think about what, think about the abortion issue and the broader ramifications of it. This is a deprivileging of all human life, and therefore post-birth abortion. Wrap your head around that for a minute, please, I beg you. Just Think about what that is. Post-birth abortion. By the way, I am for post-birth abortion for Jay Jones. For him and him alone, I believe that, and frankly, Ugly Abby, I think that since they're for it, they should lead from the front.
But that's really, I mean,
And I
when
think
we're
that they should
joking,
demonstrate the value of a post-birth abortion.
right? And I mean, joking, but the thing is, it's a slippery slope because when you start saying everything's a clump of cells and life doesn't matter, and you can, oh, I can get an abortion after birth. Oh, well, they were going to be poor; they don't deserve to live. So it's like, well, what about the poor kids that are alive? You can terminate them too. What about? And then it snowballs into, well, now I can just kill anybody I don't like, anybody that doesn't do whatever I want them to do. Bye bye. And it's a sick, disgusting thing, right? And it all leads back to what they want to do is take over these elections forever. The next one on the list is extend the time absentee ballots can be received after election day for 3 days.
What could
Wow.
go wrong? What could
What
go
could go wrong,
wrong?
guys? Who knows? The Republican candidate's winning by 100,000 votes. Whoopsies. 3 days later,
We just
magically,
got new votes,
101,000 votes came in, guys. It's totally, what a
and
coincidence.
all of them
Wow.
for Ugly Abby. It's
All of them
amazing.
for the Democrat.
Yeah.
There was no coin flip, it's just all of them for Democrat, and now they win. Gee, no, nothing bad could happen there. And then allow their people. Oh, here's the best one. We were talking about this earlier. Allow people to cast their votes electronically through the internet.
Uh-huh.
No, no way that when for years, remember the Russian bots were invading Facebook and taking over. There's no way that a foreign government wouldn't see that. Oh wow, we can just vote online in a Virginia election. No, they would never do anything like that, right?
All
Like,
right. I want to interject something, and I meant to have this pulled up, but I am in possession of a document
mm-hmm,
written by a very, very rational guy who I worked with, who I know personally, who was a senior Army officer who lives in the state of Virginia. And he worked the election polls, and he wrote a very, very carefully crafted word to the Virginia Elections Commissions about dim tech software.
yeah.
Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. Dim tech software. You know what it is? It's the software that they use to count the ballots.
It's weird. It's
And it's
named
ex and you
Demtech. Did
know,
any?
and do you know who owns dim tech software? The
That would.
Democrats.
I wouldn't. Oh, I just
They're counting their own
there's
ballots.
there's no hint. It's kind of like like the Transformers and the Decepticons. If they came to Earth and they said we're the Decepticons, the alarm bells should go off. Whoop. This sounds a little shady. But Democrats owning Demtech that counts the votes. Nah, send it, guys.
By the way,
Don't worry about it.
since he wrote that letter, and I think he persisted for response, I think they hemmed and hawed, and I'm still in very good contact with this individual whose name I shall keep nameless because he's like super great guy. I love this guy, and he's not wired like you and I. He's more calm, which
Yeah.
thank God somebody's got to do it.
Someone has to do it.
Ain't gonna be you or me.
Nope. Nope. No thanks.
He's a great guy. But he's like he's been in touch with them, and they I think they came back and said, well, okay, we're gonna do this. And I think that they changed it. It is just a sister company. It's another
Right.
shadow company under a different name, run by the exact same people. And
Yeah.
if you look at the owners of Dim Tech Software, it's people like Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein and leading senior communists. I
Yep.
mean, Democrats. I mean, I don't know why I even call them Democrats because they are communists.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're still a Democrat today and you are listening to this, please, please, we beg you, open your eyes. Your party is not the Democratic Party anymore. It is the Communist Party. You have been hijacked.
Yep.
So again, on the things which I think speak very loudly for themselves, uh, absentee ballots, internet, allow people to cast their votes through the internet, which I'll talk more about in just a minute. Uh, Abigail Spanberger won the election by 500,000 votes between 2022 and 2024 in Virginia. There were 1 million
All right.
duplicate voters registered on the internet. none of which required proof of American citizenship.
Yep.
Just ponder that for a minute. Before you say Republicans stayed home, would you talk to that Shamgar? Because we know that Republicans did not stay home.
I know, I was at the polls, man, multiple days, and I saw more people than ever. And other people, I asked people this everywhere I went, like, because people here know people in other towns. I went from here, I went to Spotsylvania. I'm hanging out at the polls at both places. I'm watching more people vote for Republicans than ever because they're grabbing the Republican ballot. I'm hanging out with my friends, and then they're like, "Oh, we lost by all these votes." I don't believe it. I
I
I
don't
was
either.
there. I was
I
there.
didn't
I
believe it.
watched it with my eyes.
I don't either.
You can't tell me that, like, the amount of people I saw at the Republican meetings, at these get-togethers, at anything Republican. We went to a bunch of stuff, and there's more people out than ever. I've never seen this many people involved in Republican politics ever. And Democrats would hold their little rallies, and there's 20 people there. No one's there. Nobody is at these places. They're not getting funding from them. None of these people have
because
money. They
they
don't have
are
any jobs.
because they are participating in an illusion.
Right.
It
It's
brings
all
up
fake.
something that uh, I think you're going to be able to hear what I'm getting ready to play,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a really good time to interject this because I've wanted to play this. This is the voice of Jim Garrison. By the way, if you don't know this, what you really need to know is the death of the free press plays directly into this, and many
All
of
right.
you are being propagandized to the hilt, and you just are oblivious to it. It is our hope that maybe one leftist maybe tunes in and puts on their thinking cap and actually listens to what we have to say. But what I'm about to say are the facts, and you can look this up yourself. There was legislation signed in the 1990s. Slick Willie was involved that took the American media from well over 150 separate entities, none of whom could own more than five or six news stations or broadcast. It basically crushed the free press. So now what we have in America are six massive corporations that control 90% of the media, and they are
Mm-hmm.
Comcast, Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony, and Amazon slash Netflix. That's them. Though that is your media. What does that tell you? It tells you that you ready for this? This is the amount of people that are controlling your media. Six.
All right.
You know how many narratives there are on the media? One.
And
One
they're all
narrative.
working together. They all get their talking points at 4 a.m. That's why you can see a bunch of mainstream medias, like all those videos where they're all clipped together and they're all saying the exact same thing on like 50 different channels. That's why you have all
Yes,
these.
I can show you one later on the
Right.
podcast
There's
if you
there's journalists that are writing the article with the same exact headline across 50 different things.
exact same headline.
And
It
it's
is one.
Operation Mockingbird. If anyone wants to look it up, the CIA admitted that they do this since the, I don't know, 50s, whatever. And then there's a really good documentary called Out of Shadows that shows the testimony that they're saying in the Senate, saying, yeah, we pay news people to put out propaganda we want them to believe. We pay movie theaters to create movies to shape political narratives for the
G.I.
society in
Jane
the country.
with
Yeah.
Demi Moore.
Right. Yeah. That was one of them. Yeah. A lot of these things. And then all these movies that Hollywood's been producing that they have anything to do with military stuff. Military says, yeah, we'll let you use our stuff for free, but then you're going to have to put out whatever we want. And there's some division of it. It's just like what you dealt with in the army, like woke people taking over, pushing all this
Very
insanity.
sad situation, it really
They
is.
move up in the ranks, they take over, and then they push wokeness on everyone and ruin everything.
Absolutely.
You know,
It's
so
it's a it's a stunning problem.
anyone can look this up. Out of Shadows, go take a look, and you can see it. You know.
So if I can go back just a second, so we
Mm-hmm.
talk about the illusion of the media. This is what you're about to hear, and I think I'm almost certain you'll be able to hear that.
Yeah, let's play it.
This is going to be Jim Garrison. He is the DA from New Orleans, my hometown,
Okay.
and he's talking about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And he's talking about the media's involvement. It's a very short soundbite. It's from the movie The American Media and the Second Assassination of John F. Kennedy, which is just a catchy There's no second assassination, obviously. It's just a
Right, right.
catchy title. But listen to what Garrison says about the Kennedy assassination in the media. So here it comes. I'm going to play it right now.
Yeah.
Federal government in digging up evidence involving the Central Intelligence Agency in the murder of a well-loved president. So in this particular case, the solution chosen was to form a commission of honorable men, but honorable men who were reliable, that could be counted on to conceal the truth.
On November 29,
Let me play you just one more little snippet here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair to describe the assassination as essentially a no-risk operation. Without knowing precisely who they were, I think there had to be assurance that there would be, at least at the outset, a few elements of the media that would be cooperative from the beginning, because they had to start off with a certain momentum from the beginning before reality started to interfere with the building of the illusion.
All right, listen to what Garrison said. To spin the narrative that people believed, at least somewhat believed, of Lee Harvey Oswald as the murderer of John F. Kennedy, they had to have the media involved right at the ground floor
Yep.
because they had to spin the narrative to create the illusion before reality started to set in
Yep.
and interfere with the illusion. And that is what is going on today. It's been going on for a very, very long time.
And then the Smith-Mundt Act, right? Isn't that when
Yep.
Obama
Yep.
passed that? So then
Yep. Yep.
now news is allowed to propagandize
to
you,
be propaganda.
and they can't be sued for it. So they're allowed to be straight up lie.
It
But I
is
think that's coming to an end because now Trump is suing the pants off all these people for doing like really bad defamation and stuff. I think he baited him into it by like doing interviews with him. He knew that they would be nasty liars and thieves, and then they took the bait, and now they're losing. That's why Washington Post, I think it was yesterday, fired half their staff. You see that?
I did not.
Yeah, yeah. And then
I
they're
did not see that.
and then they're having a chant outside that who makes the news? We make the news, and like doing some chant, and it's like you guys are pathetic. You lost. No one reads you.
We make
no
the
one trusts
news, huh?
you. Yeah, some like we write the stories, and it's like not anymore.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Go bag the fries, girl. Go bag the fries. Okay,
you don't make the news,
right? And so, but they for a while they were making all the news, and everyone was falling for them, like you're saying. And it's propaganda, and it's a $1 trillion propaganda machine.
It is
to try to brainwash everyone into thinking that this is the way you think, this is the way you should do things.
Well, it's not just what they report, it's what they don't report. So what they don't report is very strategic.
Yeah, like all the criminals and pedophiles that ICE is removing right now. Do you
How
remember?
about the illegal alien invaders who have raped and murdered all manner of women and children in America?
Right.
Raped and murdered them.
Many people. No one cares about those people dying.
These are regular people like you and me.
No one cares about these American citizens dying, getting raped and killed and thrown and stuffed in bushes, have their bodies cut up, and then it's just like,
children.
oh well, children. And then it's like you can go to wow.dhs.gov as of yesterday. This is up, and you can see that there's about 3,000 pages of like 30 mugshots each, and the criminal charges of all these illegal alien criminal invaders that are charged with crimes. And you can see that many of them are pedophiles, sexual offenders, violent criminals, and murderers. That's the majority of people that they're leaving, that are getting kicked out. So all these protests, you're protesting to have a pedophile live next door to you. Okay, that's what you're doing. That's your life. Your life is you're defending a pedophile staying in your neighborhood. I want to ban ICE, right? Okay, well then that pedophile stays living in your neighborhood, and they're going to keep raping kids. Have fun.
There is a brief YouTube video that I came across very recently about a woman who worked in the prison system, and she was an administrator, and she talked about the illegal aliens that she had to release. And as she released them, she had to go down their rap sheets for their crimes. And she talked about there was a lot of them being released and the crimes that they committed. And she said, look, these people are not people coming across because they're sad and lonely and underemployed and not making enough money. These people are monsters. These people are rapists, and people they are raping are children. They are raping children.
Wasn't El Salvador
Lots
open?
of them.
they opened their prison up and said, all right, go to the United States. A lot of these countries are doing it. They're like, we don't want to pay for our
Venezuela as
prisoners
well.
anymore.
Yes, Maduro dumped his
Right,
criminals on us.
just go to the United States, go
It's more
across the
than
border,
one.
have fun. Right. It's more than one country has been doing this, you know? And that's the question you need to ask everyone. What is the number when people will say, okay, we actually do need to have borders, we do need ICE to deport people? I mean, what's it going to take? How many people do we need to import and allow to just come here willy-nilly and no background check? I think, you know, what would be a good number? 2 billion. Maybe we should have 5 billion people from all around the world just move here for free, and we can pay for everything for them. Right? There's going to be, remember, Democrats think that taxes is a magical thing where it's an infinite number and you can just have infinity taxes and pay for infinity things. So maybe 5 billion people, and then maybe we can have borders finally. Maybe we can finally get these people out of our country. I don't know, but that's a question I ask people. What's it going to take for you to say, hey, okay, we need borders? They don't have an answer because they're propagandized, like you're saying. They're weaponized, they're emotionally manipulated by a few feel bad stories on TikTok with sad music and some person talking emotionally. Oh, this is so bad. What a travesty of justice. But it's like, what about all the dead kids? What about 300,000 children missing under Biden for 4 years? They're gone.
It's more than
Poof.
3.
It's probably 450,000. It's probably more than that. And how many kids in America go missing every year?
Vanished into thin air.
It's like 800,000, right? Isn't it 800,000 kids a year in the United States? Just poof, gone.
It's
gone. And then the Epstein files are out. We know that they're torturing kids. We know they're sacrificing kids. We know they're trafficking these kids. So you got to put 2 and 2 together. All these kids go missing. You have a whole network of satanic pedos running things. Gee, I wonder what's happening. Like, this isn't hard to understand. So clearly, the real problem is they don't want to talk about why this is such a problem. They want to keep the illegal immigration going because when they traffic kids from other countries, there's no social security number. There's no way to trace it. So no one's going to miss, oh, this kid. Oh, we don't. Who knows about little Jesus? He never existed. There's no proof he existed. Right? That's what they want.
That's certainly part of it, but another part of it is they realize that they are in the process of losing long-term voting blocks.
That too, yeah.
Perhaps most significantly is African American people, especially African American males who have had their eyes opened, and they're starting to see with eyes that see that these people are not their friends.
Yeah, a lot of these illegals come here and then they hurt the black communities the most. They take the jobs from the people in the black communities the most. That's the statistical fact. Anyone can look that up.
So speaking of, this is a great segue into something that I wanted to show.
Okay.
And this is a black gentleman who is not a conservative. And I'll just play you what he has to say. It goes 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So here it is. It speaks for itself. So here we go.
Okay, great.
All right, here we go.
You gotta turn it up.
Coverage of the Georgia ballot situation. Georgia was the last state for 2020. Trump lost because of Georgia, and now we find out that Georgia had fake ballots and nobody's talking about. No media, no radio, no blogs, no nothing. An election was literally stolen. Literally stolen in our face. Your votes did not matter in an American election. Crazy. Not only that, after they stole it, they tried to indict Trump for saying, hey, something's weird. They tried to indict him to shut him up. When that did not work, they went after his friends. Rudy Giuliani lost everything because he said the election was stolen. He lost everything. Condos, trust, bank accounts, hundreds of millions of dollars they took from him because he said it was stolen. The My Pillow guy from Minnesota, he lost everything damn near because he said the election was stolen. A lady went to prison. I forgot her name.
Tina Peters.
She went to prison.
Yeah, Tina Peters.
The shit was stolen. But yet, no coverage. There's no nothing. There is no talk about what that did to our Constitution. There is no talk about nothing. We literally had an election stolen, and there's nothing being said about it. When you look at the polling, not the polling, when you look at the voting turnout for the last 5 presidencies, everything was always like this. Presidency did not matter like this. You get to Biden's term, all of a sudden it goes exponential. Fucking curve.
20 million.
For Biden.
20 million votes.
He got more votes than Obama, who was supposedly the most popular politician in American history. He got more votes than him. More votes than Hillary Clinton, a gentleman nobody liked. Remember, a gentleman that his vice president said was a racist on stage during the debate. Nobody's talking about it. And like the one thing I said in my post, that was just Fulton County.
Just Fulton County.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right. Proven fact. There is voter fraud. Sorry, Dems, you lose. You said there was none for 4 years.
It's rampant.
Right.
It's not just voter fraud. It's rampant voter fraud. Rampant.
Right.
So I want to, this is a perfect segue into something else I really, really, really want to read and we'll talk more about, but here we go. Oh gosh, it just popped out. Bear with me. I'll bring it back.
That's right. I'll just read some more of these things on the list. Look, Ugly Abby wants to make it illegal to hand count ballots. Wow, that there's nothing that could go wrong there. It's just everything has to be electronic. No one would ever manipulate votes like we just showed that they did. Now, oh yeah, there's a 500 sales tax on firearm suppressors, assault weapons, and large capacity magazine ban. They're adding more sales tax to firearms and ammunition. You can't even shooting outdoors on a land less than 5 acres. Oh, lower the criminal penalties for robbery. So don't worry about it, guys. You're going to have a lot more robbery crimes, but nobody's going to be held accountable for that. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses. So they go to court to get their quote unquote due process that they're not really entitled to because they're not citizens, but they go to court and then they're found that they have to be deported, but they're not allowed to go there to deport them. That's great. Remove mandatory minimum sentences. Great. Yeah, that's great. So just whoopsies, let them out of jail. Allow localities to install speed cameras, which are totally corrupt. So there's a speed camera in Spotsylvania, right? And they had a snow day. So the speed camera, they didn't change the times on it. So and then they had no school. So, but the speed camera was still snapping photos of people's plates, still giving them tickets, even though the school was canceled. Yeah, they're really great. Oh, and the best part is they want Indigenous Peoples Day to replace Columbus Day, which you can't get any more. Look, we are the indigenous people. We've been here. We conquered. We settled. We did it. That's the reality. We're indigenous to this land. We are the Native Americans. That's the reality. All these people say, oh, you stole the land. Okay, how's that working out for Billie Eilish? Is she giving up her property after she said that at the awards? Oh, no one's illegal and stolen land. Then
I'm sure she'll be vacating her house any minute now.
Go give up your $14 million mansion then. Great.
I'm sure that she will. I have no doubt that she will practice what she preaches and give that mansion away.
And notice, no one ever cares about all the other places in the whole world that were conquered by Islam or by other countries, by other people. No one cares about that. It's the only people that should give up their land are white people in America. That's it. And everyone else is fine. So that's why, and you know what? There was people here before the Native American Indians anyway. There was Mexicans. There was all sorts of people here, and they were too busy genociding each other anyway to care about it. But I guess the real takeaway
is a lot, a little, I have friends. I have a very good friend actually who's an American Indian, and she is a solid Christian woman. But the fact is that many, I don't know how many, but at least some of the Native American tribes were savages, and they were killing each other.
They were genociding and they were committing child sacrifice rituals to their fake gods. And they were doing all sorts of evil things. If anything, they should be glad Christians came here and taught them Christianity and taught them to stop doing that, right? Stop killing babies, okay? They're better off. But I guess the real takeaway is we're talking about ICE. We're talking about borders. maybe if the Native American Indians had a better border policy, they could have kept Christopher Columbus out in the first place. So I guess that proves the whole point that borders are important. And if you don't have them, you get conquered and you lose.
So, along the lines of propaganda and voter fraud, here is what I was looking for a minute ago.
Okay.
The U.S. processed 4.3 million online voter registration applications between 2014 and 2016. The U.S. processed 27 million online voter registration applications between 2018 and 2020. Online voter these applications did not require proof of American citizenship.
Wow.
Just just
Nothing
just
bad can
just
happen with that.
just ponder that one for just a nanosecond. And here's just a little segue. When Trump beat Hillary, 32 million mail-in ballots were counted in 2016.
Yeah.
When Joe Biden allegedly beat Trump because he was just so popular
Right.
and got 81 million votes. How many mail-in ballots do you think were counted in 2020?
It's probably more.
69 million.
And then 4 years later, where'd the 20 million voters go? Where'd they
Yeah,
go?
they must have disappeared. It was amazing.
Whoopsies.
Let me. There's a little blurb about our favorite governor, Ugly Abby. So I'd be
Okay.
remiss if I didn't read that
We
one.
have
So
to.
just bear with me. I must read about Ugly Abby because I dislike her very much, and her gaggle of commies, who are pathological liars. Do you know when I haven't even mentioned it. When I first moved back here
Yeah.
in 2022, I would get these voicemails from a congressperson about town hall meetings, and I didn't give this person my phone number. You know who it was? It
Huh.
was Abigail Spanberger, the
Yeah.
Ugly Abby, and I'd get these phone calls. I'd get these voice messages like, "How did this person get my
Right.
phone number?"
They
And
spent
so
way more money. Democrats and her didn't she spend way more money than Winsome Sears? I mean, it was like not even close. It was like
I don't
ridiculous.
know, but I get these probably. I mean, they're not spending their own money. They're only
No.
spending USA. They're spending your
USAID
money.
and
But
Somalian daycares.
it's so I'd get these voicemails. Hi, this is Abigail Spanberger. We're doing a town hall, and you can participate in town hall. And I'm like, who the hell is this person? And
Right.
that's like, this has got to be a leftist, and
Well,
it
when she
was.
ran, though, she didn't even run any town halls. You and me went to a bunch of Winsome Sears things, John Reed stuff, like everything in Virginia you could go to. But then she didn't hold anything. She did the Biden thing where she campaigned from her basement.
I
Right?
mean,
She didn't show her face. Nothing. You
it's
couldn't even talk to these people.
it's 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 unbelievable. But let me see if I can still find this. It seems to have eluded my.
But
There it
that's the
is,
thing.
right there. I just found it.
Okay,
So
great.
all right, here it is.
Yeah.
Governor. Oh my God, it rubs me the wrong way to call this person governor.
Right.
I have a candidate for governor, which I'm going to introduce to the world
You guys better be
uh,
ready.
very, very soon. So hang on. We're going to follow this up because I have the candidate for governor of Virginia who I believe will truly surpass the greatness of Abigail Spanberger. So here comes. So Governor Abigail Spanberger won Virginia by 527,000 votes in 2025. Virginia reported 1,074,000
Right.
duplicate voter registrations between 2022 and 2024. Look, please, if you are a leftist, even if you're conservative, you're not exactly where we are. Please wrap your head around some simple truths. The left believes that the ends justify the means. They do not have rules.
No.
The only rule that they're interested in is them being in power. They are fanatically intoxicated with it. Fanatically.
Right.
So when you sell yourself on the lie that the end justifies the means and that you're a good person, A plus B equals C. It is basic logic. These people are pathological. They let me just let me just, this is a perfect segue into something I really, really want to read.
Mhm.
And I think more eyes are being opened. I don't know if that comes on the screen as
Yeah, I can
backwards,
see it.
but it says How We Win. I don't know what it looks like
Right.
on your end,
Yeah,
by
yeah, you can
Charlie
see it.
Kirk. So let me just read you, and this just came in today. I've waited for quite some time to get this book. I ordered it by giving a donation, but let me just read you just a little snippet because it's so poignant. Yeah, it from initial read, it looks as good as I hoped it would be. But let me just read you just a little snippet. Conservatives have adopted the participation model in their political conflicts with liberals for a very long time. With each and every, he talks about participation trophies. Let me read you the preceding paragraph. You're going to love this one.
Hmm.
By this time, everyone has experienced the commonplace practice of awarding participation trophies to children in athletics. This means that the red jersey 5-year-old on the T-ball team that just lost a 3-inning game 37-2 gets the same recognition as the game at the game's end as does the blue jersey slugger who hit 5 home runs to win the game for his team. To corrupt the adage, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it just matters that you played the game.
Hmm.
Conservatives have adopted this participation model in their political conflicts for a very long time. With each and every milestone that gets crossed in the liberals' move towards a radically post constitutional America, conservatives take pride in having cast no vote or writing a dissenting opinion piece to protest the action. They seem satisfied to say the outcome might be bad, but we should get credit for trying. In their minds, participation earns merit, and merit is an acceptable substitute for winning. The other outcome seems acceptable to so-called conservatives is that of simply surviving. This is what I've long called sort of a Vichy France model. This is the reference to the portion of France that was allowed to remain somewhat autonomous from direct German rule after the successful invasion by the Nazis in 1940. By the way, if you are the left, you are the Nazis. I repeat, if you are the left, you are the Nazis. We don't have time to explain that to your addled minds right now, but if you are the left, you are the Nazis. Be advised. So while there has been a debate over the decades on just how complicit or collaborationist the Vichy French were with the Nazis, they were certainly not engaged in a struggle to win. Detailing the Vichy Nazi arrangement is beyond the scope of this effort, but one key point remains relevant. The Vichy French retained only as much real autonomy as the Nazis were willing to give them.
Right.
Any sort of overreach or serious rebuff to the German occupiers would have been met with the most severe retaliation. This sort of survival mentality that can be seen in among many conservatives in today's America is not just within the government. Too often, our side is satisfied with receiving a token seat at the table, wherever that table might be. We rationalize the value that that one seat says we're still in the game and we've survived. In a conservative mind, that means we're living to fight another day. The purpose of this book is to make clear that another day has arrived. It is time to realize that what we are engaged in is not a simple political struggle over the give and take of ideas. We are not in the middle of a repeating historical political cycle that will eventually come around our way on its own. We do not need to stand aside so that we don't get hit by the political pendulum when it swings back in our direction. Whether we like it or not, we are locked in a deadly serious political, economical, and cultural game against an opponent who is willing to go all out to win. This isn't boxers sparring. This is a gladiatorial death match, and the winner's spoil is America, the freedom of Western civilization itself. We
Hmm.
are in an all out war for our and our children's survival. Reagan knew it. We know it.
Yep.
Trump knows it, MAGA knows it, and you know it.
It's
This
a
is life or death.
it's a perfect explanation because it is a gladiator sport right now. It's whoever wins is alive and whoever loses is dead. And we already know that they're willing to and they want to kill us. They say it every day, So it's either we have to win and survive or we lose and we're dead. Because I've already seen people post on Twitter, even government people, when Democrats get back into power, we're going to make camps that people that voted for Trump are going to have to go to for re-education. Like they openly say this, that they're not even hiding.
I am well aware. I am painfully aware that this re-education thing, they are absolutely that twisted.
They're
And I have
100%
seen it
serious
with
about
my
it.
own eyes.
They're 100% serious. They already did it in
I know they're
Australia
serious.
for people that didn't want to get the vaccine. They had camps you had to go to there. Like, this is for reals, these guys. This isn't just us being conspiracy theorists or right-wing extremists. We're just care about the fact that we want to survive. We want our kids to survive, and we don't want to be taken over by a bunch of Satanist pigs. I mean, freaks. I mean, that's just the reality is. I mean, and you have to be in this fight, because if you're not and you're just like on the sidelines, oh well, it's all going to work out, then they're gonna crush you.
The
And
so-called
that's what all these conservatives have done in Congress. What do? They don't do anything. They get your
yes,
votes. We come out, we
they do
support
nothing.
them, and then they sit there and then they're like, oh well. So we went to a place. They said, well, we can't be too strong because then they won't work with us on stuff.
Yes. Oh
Remember
my
he said
God, I
that,
remember
and
that.
it's
Oh my
like,
God,
come on,
yes.
dude. These people are never going to work with you. They hate your
They are
guts.
never going to work with
They're
you. They're
faking
not
it. They're
interested in
lying.
work with. They are not interested in discourse
They're
at
not.
all.
They're not going to work
I
with you. They want to kill you. They want to
I
kill your kids.
I was in DC a couple of years back at an event. I'll leave it nameless, but it was a pretty good event. Relatively, I'd call it pretty fairly moderate to high level, where congressmen and senators spoke, and they came and they spoke to us. For a very reputable event of some people who I'm a real fan of. And it was all conservatives. And I raised my hand. It was not too terribly long after the greatest crime, or one of the greatest crimes in American history, the stealing of the national election in 2020, um, which they have gotten away with scot-free. And they have, God, it's unbelievable what they've done. But I raised my hand for a congressman or two, one in particular. I think I might have done it a couple times, but one in particular, I was like, hey, essentially, what are you guys doing about the voter fraud? What are you in Congress doing about voter fraud? And he was a good guy. I mean, you could tell he wasn't an evil man, but he hemmed and he hawed and he's like, well, local this and local that. And it's like, the answer was essentially nothing. We're not doing anything.
Right.
And why don't they do anything? Because it's costly. And it goes back to the Vichy France model. And it's basically what I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for a very, very long time. It's Neville Chamberlainism. It does not work.
Right.
Adolf Hitler was not going to be satisfied with the Sudetenland. The left is not going to be satisfied to have Ugly Abbey in Virginia for 1 or 2 terms. The left wants absolute power. We are
Right.
not fighting against flesh and blood. We are fighting against principalities and powers and the people that cooperate with them. This is a takedown of your nation. This is a
Right.
takedown of your children's future.
And this is it. This is the last chance to do anything, everyone. So it's either you fight now or you lose forever, because once these Democrats win again, if they ever do, they said they will never relinquish power ever. And they mean it. And they'll cheat and they will set up new laws and new rules to
There
make
is
sure
no
they never
depth.
lose.
There is no depth to which they will not
They don't
stick.
care. They don't care. In their
There is no,
minds,
there is
they
no,
they really think they're the good guys of this story and they're the heroes fighting the Nazis. They really believe that. And
I
so,
don't know if they actually believe that, but they say they do. I mean,
let's say they
I think some of the stupider ones actually believe that.
yeah.
I haven't read the end of this book. I'm always asking myself the question, Shamgar. It's like I always like what we're doing right now, I know that you're an optimist, and God love you for it. Somebody's got to do it. But I always ask myself the question when we're doing something like this, because frankly, it wears me out just a little, as you know.
Yeah.
You're energized. I'm like de-energized. Uh, I know you love this kind of thing, and God love you. I mean, somebody's got to. But um, I think about, is the podcast that we do right now, is it having any effect? Are we doing anything good? Or are words falling on deaf ears? Are we preaching to the choir? Are we just spewing hot air and making no contribution?
I think God would rather see us make an effort
I
than not.
agree. I mean, I agree. I would rather dare mighty things, yet checkered with failure, than to have been among those faint-hearted who knew neither success nor
Right.
defeat because they never dared to try. That's Teddy
Plus, I
Roosevelt.
told you we're going to win, and then when we do, everyone's going to look back on us, and we were right about everything, and then they're going to be like, "Oh wow, what else do these guys have to say? They were right about everything." So that,
So, I mean, I certainly hope so. I pray so.
I know
But
I'm the optimist. You're. It's all right, man. There's a few doubting Thomases, but hey, he was still recognized by
I mean,
Jesus.
Thomas was still a disciple. He still got in the 12. I mean, I'm
Right.
I'm good enough. I'm
So,
happy to be I'm happy to be 12 of 12. I mean,
right. So hey,
I'd
hey,
settle for
doubting
number
Thomas,
13,
he was still pretty up there in
Yeah, I mean,
importance, right?
if I can get in the top 12, I'm good with that.
So,
My football team made the college football playoff, got blown out in the first game, but hey, they got in.
right. So hey, so
So
you can't get mad. And honestly, look, if everybody never doubted anything, then never questioned anything, then everyone would just go off the rails, So you have to have some people holding people in check and asking questions and asking about stuff, whatever. But the next one the one we do will have to be about like what I think is going to happen, and then we can have debates about it and all the Epstein stuff, all the Q stuff, all the everything that's supposed to happen. But for now, yeah, I'm optimistic, and I'll keep telling you and everyone else that I think this is the year we win. I
yeah,
think that
brother,
everything's
I mean,
gonna come out.
I,
I think it has to be, and I tell everyone this. I said, look at it logically. If we don't win, then this country's toast. The middle class is toast. Everything's toast. Our lives are. They're going to take our homes. They'll take everything from us, and
they
then
have absolute design on your homes. There's no doubt about
right,
it.
it'll be game over for everything. So
I know, and I know that they're going to take our homes. I know that sounds crazy to some, but consider if the cackling hyena, Kamala Harris, had got in. Consider the effect of an unrealized capital gains tax. Do you
right,
know what they were going to do to you?
yeah, they were
They
going
were
to
going to
tax
say
you out
your
of your
whole.
life.
Yes, they were going to tax you out of your home. They were going to
Mm-hmm.
take your house.
They're going to tax you so much that you couldn't pay anything, and then they'd
You
say,
couldn't
"Oh, well,
afford your own
you
house. You're
got
going
to
to have to
give it
move out
up."
of
And
your own
now
house.
live in the pod, eat Z bugs. You will own
Yes,
nothing and be happy.
yes.
That's what it would have been.
And I know that this sounds sensational to some, but
It's really not. I mean, when you really think about what was on the line, if God hadn't intervened and then Trump won, then our lives would be toast. We'd all be
I,
in FEMA camps or
I mean, we
something
don't even
worse.
know. We don't even know the real margins of Trump's victory in
No.
2024. We don't know the margins of his victory in 2020.
We don't even know the
We,
margin of victory in 2016. I
we
believe
don't
he
know
blew
the
out Hillary
margins
then
of
too.
his all three of his landslide victories.
Right. That's right. He's going to be president in 2028 too, though. So don't worry about it.
I don't know if he will be, but if he
I
did, I
think he
would
will.
certainly giggle
I think he will.
because I would get to watch liberals' heads
I
explode.
think I think he will. I think the only proper, like, let's say you get something stolen from you over and over again. The only proper restitution is you have to get it paid back to you.
I completely disagree
You
with
know,
that. He was robbed of an opportunity
right?
to be a consecutive term president.
He was robbed of
So
his first term too,
yes,
because
yes.
this whole first term it was just lawfare, lawfare, and they
Oh
knew
yeah,
it was all garbage.
absolutely.
Russia Gate,
Absolutely.
Russia Gate, Russia. They knew it was all garbage. So I think it's all going to come out, and then he's
We'll
going to be
see.
like, "All right, guys, yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to make up to me the fact that you stole all my presidencies. I'm gonna be president for. You know what I tell everyone? I say I hope he becomes immortal and he's president for forever. And they get really mad. But I really think, and the realistic thing is that yeah, they should give him all
Well, I
as
mean,
many
there's
years as
there's
he
no doubt
wants.
that 2020 was stolen. I mean, it's beyond a shadow of a
Right,
doubt.
a million
I mean,
percent.
it's if you've done the slightest bit, if you have one marble of a brain rolling around your head, and you've done the slightest bit of homework on the
I was at all
2020
these
election.
Trump rallies back then too, and I saw so many people. And Biden was campaigning from his basement, and he had
Yes,
nothing. He had no one
yes,
showing up.
yes,
Do you
yes.
actually? Do you remember when Hillary was doing? I can show you this later. Hillary was doing get-togethers or whatever it was, campaigning, and she had people there. But if you viewed and looked at the picture, they were photoshopping it and putting people in the audience. It was the same people here and the same people over there in the
They
same
did
picture.
they did the same thing with Kamala.
Yeah, the same thing
Yes,
with Kamala.
they
They said
faked
she
they
was in
faked
these big.
crowds.
Yeah, they faked the crowds.
You know,
And
they
now,
also have a rent a crowd. You know that a rent a
yeah,
crowd exists
yeah, they had rent.
for real.
They rented people to come from out of state, bust them
Yes, they
in
bus them in
because you could see the
and they pay
buses.
them.
They paid them money to go. So
Yeah.
all this has been fake for a long time, and it's all because, okay, boils down to this: liberals, they think they're the majority. They want to be prideful. They want to sit there and say, I'm virtue signaling. So if they think they're part of the majority, they'll go nuts and push it. But if they think they're the minority, they'll shut up. They won't say anything because these people are weak and pathetic. They're not like you and me. You and me are going against these people that think they're the majority and act like it, right? And we don't care. We're going against the grain. We're going against what is quote unquote the norm of all these rabid leftist lunatics. But that's because we're strong men and we can do that. These people will never do that. And that's one of the reasons they hate us. They would never do what me and you do. They would never confront anyone. These people are cowards. And the only way, if you notice leftists, how they act, the only thing they ever do is they group up in big mobs and then they attack their target.
Pathetic. They're like animals. They're like hyenas.
They're really, they're perfect
They're like
represent, like
yes.
hyenas.
They're
Hyenas will
scavengers.
never do anything one-on-one. Never. They'll wait till they have a whole group and then they'll attack the lion.
And then they attack one lion, and then the second big lion comes, and
then they all
are
run
off. Yes,
it's the perfect representation of what
it
those
is.
rules are. Literally.
It is.
But speaking of hyenas, that leads us into what we're about to do next. So you want me to stop it here?
Can I read one little?
Oh, yeah, read one more.
Blurb?
Oh, yeah,
We'll stop
okay.
this. I got the last little blurb, and it's repetitive.
Okay.
And it's repetitive for a reason, and it's the words of John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
And I don't think that these words can be emphasized too often or too strongly, because a problem well defined is half solved. So again, as I was saying, I don't know if you and I are going to contribute to any victories. I mean, I'd like to think we will, but if nothing else, maybe we help define the problem. I don't know what Charlie Kirk is going to say on how we win. I don't know what he's going to say. I'm sure he's going to be good. I'm confident it'll be smart because Charlie Kirk was a genius.
Right.
I believe that. But I think we've got a battle royal on our hands. But listen to the words. Listen to the words of the dead. Listen to these prophetic words again. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of free elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, and scientific and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned. No rumor is printed. No secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy could ever hope or wish to match. Kennedy was, of course, speaking of the enemy behind the enemy, which is the deep state that murdered him.
Yep.
It is the same deep state which is very much alive and well today. It is the same deep state which has installed Ugly Abbey, Zoran Mondami, the governor of New Jersey. I have no doubt that Raphael Warnock also was installed, stole a seat from Herschel Walker, a fine man and a hero football player and a great Christian. Who knows how many elections have been stolen blatantly? You got a grandmother named Tita Peters, which was referenced earlier, who is doing time
Literally
in prison for telling the truth.
Right. And then she just got attacked the other day. You see that?
Yes, I saw it.
Attacked her.
Yeah,
and then
she was assaulted in prison.
And because she blocked the other person's punch, she was charged with assault herself for blocking the other person's punch. I mean, come on. How obvious does it have to be that they're after this girl? I mean, come on.
Have you ever seen the liberal judge, his little lecture to her or why she was going to prison? It's absolutely appalling.
All right.
It's
She'll be vindicated, and I know God's gonna have a big reward for her because she put her life on the line for this.
she did. I mean,
And
she's
I mean,
lost her
literally,
life.
and
She's literally losing her life. She's wasting away in prison.
I hope she gets repayment times 77.
I hope she gets payment times 7,077.
Because she's put a lot on the line.
She's a hero.
But she'll be vindicated, and her name will be in the history books.
I hope so.
And all these crazy liberal lunatics out there, you lose. You're gonna lose. You're gonna continue to lose. Every day you're going to lose. And when Trump said, listen, the only thing I've ever disagreed with Trump on is he said that we would get tired of winning. Sorry, Trump, I'm never going to get tired of winning. Okay. Not after everything we've been through. I'm never going to get tired of winning against these liberal lunatic wackos. Okay. So she's a hero. And all these other people standing up. And if anyone else, wants to do podcasts, we can interview someone. We can bring them on. We could do whatever. Who cares? And it's just more people need to get involved. That's it. Just get involved. And the more people, you never know what God's going to do and amplify. And it's just about making the effort and doing whatever God leads you to do. That's why I do this with you. That's why I do everything I do. I'm trying to make an effort. I could just sit at home and do nothing and just play video games, but I don't want to. I would feel like I'm betraying God by not doing anything, and I'd feel bad for not being a good example for my kids, because when they grow up, who knows? The mark of the beast is around the corner. Everyone keeps talking about that. I want my kids to know, hey, don't get it. So if that ever happens for them, but hopefully I'm praying that doesn't. But the reality is I want to have my kids ready for anything. And that's the goal. Is I want them to know their dad did that. I know you probably feel the exact same way. It's got to be.
I mean, it's one of the greatest. I mean, it's a great sentiment articulated by you, and the conclusion of, I think, one of the greatest political speeches in American history, which is the time for choosing speech. And it's Reagan says the same thing. He says, if we fail, you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve this America for our children and our children's children, the last best hope of man on earth.
Right.
If we fail, at least let our children, or we're going to sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say of us, we justified our brief moment here. We did all that could be done.
Yep. So on that, I guess we'll end it, and then I'll just stop and we can record a new one then. You want to do that?
That sounds good, and we'll come back on with the segment involving my candidate for governor.
New candidate, guys.
Yes, and this is going to be after Ugly Abby is hopefully recalled.
Right.
I suspect they'll continue with the facade of elections at least.
Right.
So this candidate, I believe, should garner tens of millions of votes. And should be your next governor. So I'll introduce him.
Okay.
And Shamgar, you can,
we'll have some fun. All right.
Okay.